a very special guest in the house, an unusual guest. We have the Ghana Boundary Commission in the house, led by the Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Benito Usubiu, and also the National Coordinator of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kotia, to talk about the role of the Commission in securing the international boundaries of Ghana. We will also use this opportunity to take questions from you, and the Deputy Minister and the National Coordinator and his team will try as much as possible to provide responses to those questions. But before I yield to the Minister for his introductory remarks, permit me to acknowledge some dignitaries who are with us this morning. We have with us the Deputy Comptroller General in charge of Operation and Common Post at the Ghana Immigration Service, Lord O. Efrifa. Also with us is Brigadier General Bedawo of the Ghana Boundary Commission. We are also joined by the Deputy National Coordinator at the Boundaries Commission, Reverend James Sunyeji. Also with us this morning and to make the substantive presentation is the National Coordinator of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kotia. And as I mentioned earlier, we have with us the Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, who also doubles as the Member of Parliament for the good people of Achima Mwebieja North, Honorable Benito Usubiu. I would also like to acknowledge some representatives from GNPC, Ghana Immigration Service, Ghana Armed Forces, and the Ghana National Intelligence Bureau, who have joined us this morning. So on that note, I'll yield to Honorable Minister for his introductory remarks, and then we'll take the substantive presentation. Thank you.
Good morning. The National Coordinator, staff of the Ghana Boundary Commission, staff of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, the media, and my sister, the Honorable Deputy Minister for Information. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, the Honorable Samuel A. Jinapo, MP for Damango, I would like to welcome you all to today's Minister's Press Briefing on the African Border Day. The day is commemorated annually on 7th June by African Union member states in context of the implementation of the African Union Border Program, AUBP. The AUBP aims at addressing the persistence of lack of delimitation and demarcation of African boundaries, resulting in the creation of undefined zones to facilitate and support the delimitation and demarcation of African boundaries and to develop cross-border initiatives among AU member states. Today's briefing is a special one as it also seeks to officially outdoor to the public the Ghana Boundary Commission and the work it has been doing to effectively manage Ghana's international land and maritime boundaries as stipulated in Act 795 of 2010. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, the Commission has been very active over the past 3 years. Under the able leadership of the National Coordinator and my very good friend, Major General Emmanuel Kotia, the Commission has been parading the length and breadth of Ghana's boundaries, ensuring that various mishaps along the country's international boundaries are attended to. I know some of you have been very privy to the works of the Commission on the ground, reporting live the activities of the Commission. You have all been invited to help promote the Commission as a relatively new institution. Most Ghanaians do not know of the existence of the commission. Those who do not know the exact mandate of the commission and how different the commission is from other border management institutions. I encourage you to pay attention to the presentation about to be delivered by the national coordinator and to make relevant submissions through your questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Deputy Minister. On that note, I would invite the National Coordinator of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Kotia, to talk about their mandates as well as their success stories and challenges in relation to their role since operationalization of the Commission, most especially to talk about what they've been doing with respect to boundary surveillance, boundary audits, among others. Major, your audience.
The host Deputy Minister for Information, our dear Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, the Deputy Controller General, very good friend of mine and staff of the Ghana Immigration Service. We are very happy that you have come here in your numbers to support us. The members of the Executive Committee and the staff of the Ghana Boundary Commission, members of the media, good morning to you all. Today, we are going to look at the Ghana Boundary Commission in perspective relating to the works that are being undertaken by the Ghana Boundary Commission. I wish to state that the Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources has stated that there are a lot of people who have heard of the Ghana Boundary Commission, yet they do not understand what we do. I also know that the Substantive Minister for Lands and Natural Resources has always been saying that we should try to get an opportunity like this to tell Ghanaians of our story. By way of introduction, the Ghana international land boundary statistics are as follows. We share a land boundary with Togo, both land and maritime, but I will start with the land boundary. And approximately the length of our land boundary with Togo is about 906 kilometers. We also share a land boundary with Burkina Faso to the northern part of Ghana, 590 kilometers. And with Cote d'Ivoire, our land boundary is approximately 730. In between, we have rivers and streams, which occupies some of them are dry, some also are flowing, especially during the during the rainy season. On Ghana's international maritime boundary, currently we have a maritime boundary with Togo, Benin, and Nigeria, which covers 200 nautical miles. I must say that this issue, I'll come back to the issue of the Ghana-Togo maritime boundary, especially where currently negotiations are ongoing on it. We have a maritime boundary with Cote d'Ivoire, 200 nautical miles, and the length of Ghana's eastern to west maritime domain is about 780 kilometers at the extent of the exclusive economic zone. Now, as we mentioned earlier on, the Act 795 of Parliament established the Ghana Boundary Commission in 2010. Since 2010, only the governing body has been the organ that has been operational, meaning been inaugurated. Now, from 2020, the executive head of the Boundary Commission was appointed, and we came into full operations in 2021 with the employment of permanent staff and secondary staff and the acquisition of office space. We then continue setting up the office alongside the operationalization of our activities. The activities, efforts, and achievements of the Ghana Boundary Commission have all been geared towards the fulfillment of the Commission's mandate as spelled out by law and the strategic objectives set out by the Commission. The Commission's mandate has a wider implication for safeguarding the territory of the state at all times in collaboration with various actors within and outside Ghana. And just briefly, let me mention to you that one of the key characteristics of a state is that a state must have a defined boundary. And how do we have a defined boundary? You can only define your boundary, territory. You can only have a defined territory when you have defined boundaries. That is how important the Ghana Boundary Commission is, because the responsibility of defining our boundaries, both land and maritime boundaries, and to some extent air boundaries, is the responsibility or is the mandate that we are supposed to undertake. We are supposed to lead negotiations with a neighboring country concerning land or maritime boundary disputes between Ghana and that country. We undertake fiscal demarcation of land boundaries and delimitation of maritime boundaries. Whenever determined with a neighboring country, we place bows and maritime markers along some of the courses of the maritime boundaries of Ghana. Let me mention that so far as land boundaries are concerned, there is no dispute so far as our land demarcations are concerned. So what the Ghana Boundary Commission clearly is doing and is continuing to do now is reaffirmation. These land demarcations, we are not doing new demarcations because there is no dispute so far our land demarcations are concerned. We also to encourage negotiated settlement of border disputes in preference to litigation. In collaboration with relevant security agencies, we ensure the security of the boundaries of Ghana to safeguard the territorial integrity of Ghana at all times. Through negotiation, determine cross-border matters among communities, promote trans-border cooperation and local community development, advise government on international conventions in relation to the boundaries of Ghana, and the signing and ratification of treaties related to land and maritime boundaries. Address issues related to the use of natural resources that straddle land and maritime boundaries. Formulate policies and programs on international boundaries, including land and maritime boundaries, and then perform any other function auxiliary to the objects of the Commission as determined by government. The vision is clearly stated on the slide to ensure that Ghana's land and maritime boundaries are effectively secured and managed within the framework of international law, peace and security, and the African Union and ECOWAS protocols of African and regional integration. The mission is to delimit and manage Ghana's international boundaries, including settling boundary disputes through the implementation of national legislations and regional and international conventions on boundary management and cross-boundary cooperation in Africa. When the Commission was established, we set out to come out with a strategic plan, and the key focus and objectives of our strategic plan are fivefold. First is based on institutional capacity building of the Ghana Boundary Commission.